Boker tov lekulam. Toda.
Boker tov.
Oh, okay. Yofi. As did everybody have the chance to review chapters 1 and 2?
I did.
Excellent. No judgment either way. Thank you to Mike for lending me his book because my book is missing. I think everyone here kind of is up to speed. So I think we can just move right ahead into the oral review exercise. On page, can you share a book? Do you mind sharing with Aaron?
Sure.
That's okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry about
All right. So, all right. Thank you. So, what we'll do maybe is read, start at 1, 2, 3, 4, read and translate. And then if you're feeling like it, maybe you can let us know what gender and whether or not it's singular or plural. And then if, you can take the extra step of making it, we can maybe ask in the different variations of masculine, feminine, singular, and plural. We can try, see how that goes. I'm sorry, it seems like my head's cut off. Maybe I can put books under there. But anyway, who would like to start? Oh, Boker Tov, Janine. For that. That helped maybe a little?
That's better.
Okay, a little better.
You want your usual seat?
You do one more.
One more, maybe.
Let me decide what we're eating yet.
Right on top.
You think this one?
Yeah.
22. We deep frying 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, I was tilting it. It's cheating.
Something, maybe
That's
one
good.
more.
There we go.
Okay. So Barb,
Yeah.
start.
Okay, you ready?
Well, actually, let's give Janine a second to sit down. We're starting with chapter 3.
Okay.
Okay, Mispal number 1. Achad. Mispal achad.
Okay. Mi ata. Who are you? And it's singular feminine.
Singular masculine.
Oh, singular masculine. So mi at would be singular feminine.
Yes, absolutely. Mi ata. Who are you? And one of the easy ways, even though with the hey on the end and the ah sound, it sounds feminine. But if we think about using ata in prayers, we're always asking ata, God, we're always talking about God as ata, and we know that Adonai in the prayer book is a masculine. So ata, kadosh, but shimcha kadosh. So, all right, mispal shtaim, Ed.
Ani Moshe, I am Moses.
Yes.
That's singular masculine.
Singular masculine. And if you were gonna make it Sarah, if you're saying I am Sarah, how would you say that?
It would still be Ani, wouldn't it? Ani Sarah.
Yeah. Ani Sarah. I or me stays the same. It's always Ani, regardless of gender. All right.
Me at. So it's who are you? A feminine.
Yes. Me at. So who are you? And if we wanted to ask a man, who are you?
It'd be mi ata.
Mi ata. Exactly. The Duke. Mike?
Ani Leah. So I am Leah.
Yes.
Ani Lavan would be I am Lavan.
Yes, absolutely. Boker Tov Tamar.
Sorry, I got stuck in the Hanukkah making party or whatever.
Oh, no worries.
The little kids.
Yeah.
They're still there. I'm like,
Where are you comfortable?
wherever
okay.
you want.
Wherever you want to be.
Wherever
No,
you
I'm
wanna
just saying,
be.
like, if you don't want to be smushed in, if you'd rather, yeah.
I could go in.
Oh, no worries. Okay, so Mispa Chamesh, Bianca.
Me Zot.
Mizot.
Would it be who are they or who are them?
Who is this?
Oh,
So ze and zot are this. Ze is for ze sefer. This is a book. Zot bachora. This is a girl. Zot bachora. So zot or zo for this. Ze is the masculine singular. Zot or zo for the feminine singular. So mizot. Who is this? I'd ask of Bianca. Mize, I'd ask, who is this of Alan? Okay, Mispa Shesh.
Mike raised his hand.
Oh, yes.
I was just saying, a common phrase you hear is maza, right?
Maze, what is this?
Right.
Yeah, that's if you were to look into like a typical phrase book for like in Israel, maze, what's this? Maze, ma, what? Me, who? Yes.
Which is close to the Pesach joke. That's where matzah came from. Maza, what is this?
Yes,
Matzah.
maze, matzah.
Gonna have to
Sorry.
remember that one. Okay.
Maze, matzah.
Zot Sarah, this is Sarah.
Zot Sarah. And if you
And
wanted,
it's singular feminine.
yes, and if you wanted to say a man, about a man,
Zeh Menachem.
ze Menachem. This is Menachem. Bidyuk. Mispal Sheva.
Me, Hamalek. Who is the king?
Mi Hamelech. Mi Hamelech. Who is
the king?
the king? Who is the king? Exactly. And if we wanted to say, who is a king? Who is a king?
It would be me, Melech.
Mi Melech. Exactly. The ha attached to the melech makes it the. And if we wanted to change it to who is the queen,
we would say me, Hamalka.
Mi Hamalka, exactly. The pronoun doesn't change. Who stays the same for masculine or feminine? Who is this? All right. Mispar Shmone, Tamar,
Moshe HaMelech.
Moshe Hamelech.
Moses is the king.
Moses is the king. What about Moses is a king?
Moshe Melech.
Moshe Melech. What about, okay, Esther,
Esther Malka.
Esther Malka. And what about Esther is the queen?
Esther HaMalka.
Esther HaMalka. Bidyuk, bidyuk. So the new vocabulary for today introduces plural and some names. So yeah, would you like to read the vocabulary list? Actually, I'm gonna let you read the whole list because I think you've got this. Okay.
Abraham, Elah, Davar, Hain,
Him,
Haim,
him,
Hain, Leah, Torah.
Leah, Torah. And one word, the vav, which is just, do we see that word?
Yeah.
And so we talked about the letter vav, which does some interesting things. Let's see if I know we turned it so you all could see the board and then it was too light. And I looked for new markers upstairs and there weren't any. Well, let's try with this one. So again, in Hebrew, we have just the letter hey, meaning the, and it's attached to the word that it's denoting. So HaMelech, the king, HaShulchan, the table, HaSefer, the book. So the letter Vav does the same thing. It means and. The letter Vav does the same thing and attaches to a word. So Ani v'ata, me and you. Ani v'at, me and you. Ani v'ata, me and you. Ani v'hasefer, me and the book. So it just is, and then we learned the vowel sound underneath it is the two dots, which is just like a glottal stop. It has no vowel sound. It's just v. So you're just making the sound v. And that is the word and it will just literally attach to the word. And I'm just trying to think. So and we remember that vav can also become a vowel. When you put a dot on top, it becomes o. When you put a dot in the middle, oo. When you put a dot underneath, e. So, all right. There we go. Masculine nouns are usually made plural by adding im on the end. Yud, mem, sofit. Does everyone see that? So the example here is melech, king, malachim. You'll also note that the vowels change when, for most words actually, when they change from singular to plural, the vowels will change. And part of that is just for ease of pronunciation, because it would be a lot to get out melechim. So it's mlachim. Davar, dvarim. And basically how the vowels change is just a process of memorization. They change differently depending on how you make the word plural. But usually it's kind of by compressing the consonants, as you can kind of see here, melachim, melech, you know what I mean? So you kind of davar, dvarim. And how you make a singular word plural, this is why knowing what the gender is so important. So for the most part, and again, there's always exceptions to the rule, masculine words will become plural by adding yud mem on the end. However, there are going to be exceptions. Eretz, the word for land or country, is artzot. Why? I don't know. Ir, the word for city, zot ir. Feminine word becomes irim. I don't know. It's just, again, it'll be like, it's just a rule of memorization. And when you get to those rare exceptions, we'll point them out. So, okay, Eretz, Aratzot. Shabbat, Shabbatot. Isha, well, actually, Isha is one of the rare exceptions. Isha, woman, becomes Nashim. Maybe I should think of a different word. Shana does the same thing. Shana becomes Shanim, not Shanot. So let's see. Bachora, girl, Bachorot. But let's stick to the new vocabulary we know. So in both English and Hebrew, nouns are made plural by adding endings to the singular form. So that kind of goes over it. The unusual plurals, okay. Many Hebrew nouns are exceptions to the basic rule. So that is kind of true. The exception to the rule is even maybe larger in Hebrew. Av, the word for father, becomes avot. And it takes the feminine plural ending ot, even though it's a masculine word. So
Boy, you can't have a more masculine word than father,
right.
and you give it a feminine ending.
It is.
Really,
yeah.
unusual.
But what's interesting is, and this is where things become complicated, is even if you give a masculine noun a feminine ending, it remains masculine, which means that any words that describe it are still going to be masculine. So it would still be avot tovim, good fathers. It wouldn't be avot tovot, which is, see where I'm saying good father. So Abba Tov, good father. Avot Tovim, good fathers, not Avot Tovot. Yeah, Imahot, the feminine for, or the plural for mothers, is still Imahot Tovot. That again, so masculine nouns will remain being having adjectives conform according to their gender. So again, it would still be, but ele, going back to the vocabulary word we learned here, these, ele, is a neutral word. So these fathers, these mothers, that remains the same. Ele imahot, ele avot. We see how that doesn't change. It's just plural, but it's neutral with respect to gender. Yeah.
I was just thinking, I know we're focusing on biblical Hebrew and this, this is what it is. In modern Hebrew, I think you mentioned it, but is there like a movement to neutralize gender specific even nouns or anything related to?
Oh,
like a
only
they type
in
of-
so that the super progressive
Okay, so,
woke culture would do it in the same way the super progressive woke culture would do it here.
well, I'm just thinking it's a bigger deal in a language where you have the nouns associated with the gender.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
that'd be, 'cause
Yeah.
you're really tearing apart the fabric of the
Oh,
the
yeah.
core of the language. so,
I mean, for the most part, people just accept the
Yeah.
rules of grammar.
Right,
You know what I mean? There are like feminist linguists who
right.
would try to, but I mean, you're talking about a pretty big overhaul to the
Well,
language.
that's what I'm saying. English is, I don't think is big of an overhaul because we don't have
Correct.
the delineation.
But we're one of the few languages that doesn't actually. I mean,
Yeah.
Dutch doesn't either, but I mean, if you think about it, Spanish, French, a
all
lot of the Romance languages
Romance.
all,
Sure.
denote according to gender. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. But for now, I mean, even feminists, I mean, the one nod they may do is not making, so if we said chaver, friend, chavera, chaver, so anachnu, we are chaverim, friends. But, so even if we just had one man, you were women, excuse me, just for this example, and Alan was the one man, we're still chaverim. If Alan went upstairs, we'd be chaverot, right? Assuming you're women. So some people may make the nod to, let's just be chaverot. Like, why do we have to change it? Because 99 women and one man are here. One
Right.
man will, it's like one drop, will make it a masculine, studenting, studentiot, you know what I mean? But we're studenting because there are men here. So some feminists might want to keep it as studentios, but you really wouldn't do it because it would throw people off and be confusing. You know what I mean? Unless you were trying to use gender charged language in a very specific manner to promote a certain
Right,
kind of
to
thing.
make a point.
Yeah, to make a point.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Interesting.
yeah. So the unusual plurals, Abba being one of the big ones, of, avot. Again, but just remembering that they're going to conjugate according to whether they're masculine or feminine at their root and whether they're singular or plural. So another exception that happens is that many nouns gain or lose letters when plural endings are attached. So the word for mother, em, formerly in biblical Hebrew or ima, which would have an extra aleph on the end, becomes imahot. Imahot. So we see here that mothers, plural, gained a letter. But blessings, a bracha, becomes brachot, not bracha ha'ot. And again, it becomes kind of ease of saying, bracha, brachot. So bracha loses the letter hey. And there are many feminine nouns. So maybe an easier rule for the exception. Boker Tov. Boker Tov. How are you?
Excellent.
Good, good. Yeah. So there are many feminine nouns like bracha that end in a hey, and these nouns will always lose the hey when they become plural. So that's maybe a good, so bracha, brachot, chavera, chaverot. So chavera, a friend, becomes chaverot. You lose the hey on the end. To add in, Barb, are you kind of following that? Yeah, it's kind of a soft letter and it adds just kind of an extra syllable, I guess. And so for ease of speaking, so when new nouns appear, I think the book is going to introduce you to both the singular and the masculine forms because these are the most, I think the book tried to pick the most common terms that appear in the Bible so that when you run across them, you'll be familiar with them. So below is the list of nouns you've learned in plural form. And maybe we can start with Mike reading, and maybe we could read across. So the singular word to the plural word.
Melech, Melachim.
Melachim. So yeah, melech, melachim. So this masculine word in becoming a plural followed the traditional rules. The vowels got kind of clipped at the front, and it added yud mem to the ending. Bianca.
Is that a,
It's a dalet,
Oh,
a
okay,
dalet, yeah. Davar, davar. And I think about that vowel, it's like a tongue sticking out of a mouth.
Mhm.
Ah, yeah, davar, yeah,
Davar
davar.
and Davarim.
Devarim. So davar in biblical Hebrew, they're translating it as word. In spoken Hebrew, it's more like a thing. And the word is milah, zot milah, a word. So you'll see it translated biblically as either word or thing. It actually translates both ways.
How is it when if someone's saying they're gonna give a devar?
A devar Torah?
Yeah,
That's from,
that's words of Torah? Or
yes,
is that?
it's
yeah.
because it's from the verb lidaber, to speak, lidaber, to speak. So daber, speak. So it's literally like speak about, so I mean, like the essence of it is really like speak about the Torah, words of Torah,
Okay.
but it's not actually, so there, okay, so here's another exception to the rule. Milah is a feminine word for word, but milim is the plural of it, milim. So otzer milim actually is vocabulary, collection of words. Otzer milim, I think that's kind of beautiful, but that's how you, otzer milim, a collection of words, it means vocabulary. So devar Torah, words or speaking about, from lidaber, to speak. Yeah. So that's where so you see the shoresh from lidaber. They're pulling out the dalet, the vav, the resh. Remember we talked about in Hebrew, sometimes figuring out what a word means can come down to parsing out what the root of the word is. So did you guys hear that really good question about the devar Torah? You did hear.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. So lidaber, we pull out the dalet, the vav, and the resh, and we say, devar, lidaber. Yeah. Devarim, words or things. Yes. Alan.
Okay. And Amim.
Amim. Nations or peoples. Yes.
Okay. We have Shabbat and Shabbatot.
Shabbat, Shabbatot. Barb.
Eretz, aratzot.
Eretz, Aratzot. Ed.
Bracha, brachot.
Bracha, brachot. And we see the hay drop away. Brachot. Tamar.
Imahot.
Imahot. And here the hay pops in. Imahot.
Av, avot.
Avot. And an exception to the rule, the masculine word father becomes plural, but with a feminine ending. So the book tells you don't need to memorize these changes. I would say memorize the changes because there's really no rule to it other than that it's an exception. So I would actually contest that and say memorize it so that when you recognize it, you say it correctly. All right. Page 18.
I just have a quick question,
Yes.
but there's no necessarily logic as to like eretz, why you change the vowels to it from I forgot the Hebrew name for the dot, but they add to the aratzot, eretz, it's not eretzot,
It's not Aratzot.
it's aratzot.
Why they change it
Right, it's just what it is.
is just what it
Okay,
is.
okay.
Yeah,
There's no-
yeah. So
Why
it's
not?
just a question of like learning it.
Right,
And once you say it enough times, you'll become familiar with it.
Sure.
that it'll become habitual and instead of like trying to remember what the
Yeah,
exception
no,
is.
well, yeah, a lot of them, like that, they change the vowels. And my number one question of all time with vowels, just while it's out there, but is there a difference other than the biblical Hebrew and sounding between the ahs?
No, there actually isn't. So
Or
that's
why-
another
why
good
do-
question.
Why do they exist?
Yeah, why do
Why?
they differ? There's probably a reason, and to be honest, I don't know.
I know.
I'm sure there is a reason, and maybe at some point they sounded slightly different. But the straight line under a letter, just the little dash
Right.
is ah. The dash with the, I call it a tongue sticking out, is ah. The dash with the two dots underneath it, which we've also seen probably.
Yeah.
Does this follow me? I can't remember.
It does a little bit. So.
Okay. So,
It did before.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it did before.
No, it's not.
So we may have seen vowels like
It
this.
does.
There we go.
Owl's
Just
got your
takes a
back.
while.
Yeah, you started moving and then it
Oh.
noticed you moved, right?
Well, anyway, okay, I'm sorry, but the upshot is that there may be a rule, and I can look it up for you as to why why a different looking kind of combination of, I don't even know what they are, lines, make the same sound. They just do, and whether or not they have the glottal stop vowel by them, they still sound like ah. And I don't know why that is. I can look it up. That's,
But I mean, I remember way back in ancient times,
yeah,
Long way
in
away.
Yeah.
Hebrew school,
yes.
and I don't know, if Mars was the same, but the and the were and more like an aw.
Huh.
There were two separate.
That's the Ashkenazic pronunciation, the.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's
Okay.
the Ashkenazic pronunciation, the same way they do taf, like a sin.
Yeah,
Aw.
Yeah, it's more like off. Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When
Well,
I was in
that's-
Hebrew
well,
school, we learned the Ashkenazic pronunciation. But they changed sometime after that, because I remember by the time my youngest brother went to Hebrew school, they were teaching the Sephardic pronunciation.
Interesting, especially since the Sephardim are more of the minority and like who went to Israel.
but
and-
that became, I think,
Yeah,
the
sure.
accepted Israeli
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
pronunciation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
Yeah, like
that's
it
why they-
used to be Adonai as opposed to Adonai.
Yes,
Yeah.
Adonai and Shabbos. Yeah, I mean, my dad, when he prays, he's still Adonai, Adonai Eloheinu, like, yeah.
Yeah.
As a Shabbos, yeah, because he grew up in Brooklyn and,
Yeah, nice to have.
the old country.
but it's the old country. He grew up in the old country. And it's actually
Right.
adorable, really. And if you think about it, like, there's a generation where it's probably not going to be, so keep saying it, guys. I don't want to, it's like when your kid
Well,
says something
the
and it's
the
like.
Chabad, the Chabad people still use
That's true.
the Ashkenazic pronunciation.
That's true. And
Interesting.
probably all of the like Haredim, the Haredim
Right.
probably, yeah.
One other question. There's another, there's a situation where the T is
Oh,
not,
the vowel.
yeah, that vowel is not pronounced as an ah. I know there are some words in some of the prayers that I said with Cantor Figani. It's okay, no, this one, you have to say, oh, it's got to be all, like cough.
Yeah.
How do you distinguish?
Oh, that I honestly, I don't know because that's like
Some
a.
some of the newer prayer books write them differently when it's pronounced like an O instead of an ah.
So
I
there
know.
are, even even in like modern spoken Hebrew,
Yeah.
there are times when the ah is pronounced like an O. And off the top of my head, I can't, that happens in modern spoken Hebrew too, like, well, just, it's like a crossword puzzle. I'm looking at it, but I can't think of it right now. And again, like you'll look at it, the word, and you'll be like, oh, I know that it's pronounced kol instead of kal. Oh, I think kolami is like actually spelled, one of those words. It actually has an ah underneath it. But you don't pronounce the ah, you pronounce it as oh, kolami. And I have to ask, like, I don't actually know what the rule is for that, why they still use. So that's interesting that they're modifying the book to reflect the way it's actually spoken or pronounced. And I don't know, I don't know why that is, but there are some rare words, like in coal is one of them, like coal, colony or something like that. All right. Page 18. And the English word is not a separate word. It's attached to the beginning of a word. And it can have different vowels underneath it because it's just the letter vav with the sound. Well, so usually makes the sound of a v or v in the Hebrew language, but sometimes, and again, this is a rule, it becomes the vav is written as a vav, but it's pronounced oo. So again, av, va'av, melech, u melech. So how it's pronounced is you're going to be wanting to look at where the dot is or where the vowel is on the vav. And I think we'll like read and kind of see it as we go. So I don't remember do you want, Tamar, do you just want to start since we're at the top of the page?
18.
18.
Of the
Av, va'av, a father and a father. And we see the vav has the glottal stop, the two dots underneath it. That's just v. So you're just saying you're just pronouncing the v. Va'av. Morris.
Okay. Hamelech, v'hamelech.
Hamelech, v'hamelech.
So it's the king and the king.
Yes. So there are two letters that attach because it's v and ha, the melech, and the king. Mike.
Ani, ve'ani.
Ani, v'ani. And here's an example where you see the with the glottal stop, it's still And there are, as Morris said when he's studying with the cantor, probably there's like a slight change and like you'd say more like as opposed to you know what I mean? Kind of the
Right.
It's such a subtle difference that like you're studying to do it. So that and I will ask for you because I actually don't even know what the subtle difference would be. Ani, va'ani. So then it goes on to talk about this rule. The vav for the word and usually has the vowel, the two dots underneath it. You can also see it with the other vowels underneath it. But more usually it will either be v with the glottal stop vowel or vav with the dot in the middle pronounced oo. And it is pronounced oo and not vu. So the dot changes the vav from a consonant into a vowel. So for example, av umelech, av umelech, davar uvracha. And actually that's from a prayer. Yes. Did someone ask something? Okay, well, I know that, for example, uvrachamim, varachamim, uvrachamim. So like, I know that in the prayers, we do hear it. So does everyone kind of understand that, at least in concept?
Yeah, Courtney, I totally get it in terms of reading, but I don't know that there's a rule. So for example, would you know whether, if I were making it up, whether I would say v melech or u melech? I don't know that there's a rule to learn, or you just learn it over time by reading enough Hebrew.
Well, I will say this. And again, I have to look at what the exact rule is. When the vav is in front of the soft letters, like a v, or like a bet or a pay, it'll take on the oo sound, uforeset. You know what I mean? So it'll be, but why it does that in front of the mem, which is in a soft sound, I will look up the rule for you, if there is a rule, and I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that it does that in front of the soft letters. It becomes, instead of v, it becomes oo.
Uvahain.
Uvarachamim, uvaches, yeah.
Mhm.
And then varacha becomes varacha. So do all words.
Uvracha,
Uvracha,
Yeah.
that's right. So do all words that begin with bet become the, like uba,
they
whatever?
should. And I am gonna ask, I'll ask like
Okay.
specifically the rabbi just to make sure. But most words that start with vet or vet will become the
Vet.
soft sound. Pay, fey will become the fey, the soft
Okay.
sound. Mem does it as well. Sorry, I keep hearing like somebody's like about to talk. Maybe it's just in my head. So yeah, but I will look up and see if that is 100% rule. Yeah.
So would you repeat what and I is here?
Va'ani,
Okay,
va'ani.
okay.
Yeah. So you see that the vav here has an ah sound under it. Va'ani. So again, like the vav can have different vowels underneath it. And again, like I will ask about these like esoteric rules of grammar, which honestly, I probably learned. Well, I know I learned years and years and years ago, and they went out the window. But I will ask for you. Va'ani. So va'ani. Umelech uvracha. Okay. They in Hebrew, but we can practice some more words with that if you'd like. If you'd like to do,
There's a bunch of them.
yeah, they, but we, for some reason, it switches into talking about they.
Yeah.
But since we're doing this, maybe we can just, well, actually, let's do they. Let's just do it in the order it does it, because then I think it combines everything when you get to the practice list. Okay. So in the vocabulary list of this chapter, 2 words are introduced with both, which both mean they. Hem and hen. Hem is used when referring to males, or we might say a mix of males and females. Hem hachaverim, they're the friends, which would actually mean not just the friends who are male, but the friends that are a group of mixed genders. Hen is exclusively females. Hen hachaverot, they are the friends. Hen hamorot, they are the teachers. And morot, for female teachers, is another word that drops the hey and just becomes mem, vav, resh, vav, tit. Taf, sorry, taf, morot. Okay. So when you're talking about men or a mixed group of genders, or a mixed group of words that are of different genders, like maybe male and female teachers, him, hamorim, v'hamorot, they are him. But when you're talking, okay, so let's do some examples, maybe starting with Mike. They are the fathers.
Hemavot.
Him of, oh, I'm sorry, they are fathers, not the fathers. Him avot, they are fathers. What if you wanted to say they are the fathers?
Hem ha'avot.
Him ha'avot, exactly.
Would it be hen hem
Hen imahot. Hen imahot. They are hen, because mothers, plural, female, always female.
Okay, they are Abraham and Moses, Ham, Abraham, and Moshe.
Hem Avraham Umoshe. Umoshe, because the vav becomes the u sound in front of the mem. Hem, Avraham Umoshe.
And Sarah. Valea,
V'leah.
but Leah.
Hen, Sarah, V'leah. Now, Barb, what if we wanted to say they are Abraham and Sarah? How would we say that?
I think you would say Ham, Avraham, Vasara.
Yes. Hem, Avraham, V'Sarah. Do we understand why?
Because it's mixed genders.
Mixed genders, right? Yes. So, and I guess it goes on to say, when referring to a group that includes both males and females, the masculine form is used. So Ed, do you want to give another example of when there's mixed genders, we use the masculine pronoun?
Well,
Oh, so it's
the
literally
next,
the next sentence, sorry.
the next one, him, hav, the ha'im.
Yes. They are the father
And the
and
mother.
the mother, v'ha'em. Okay, Tamal,
Hem Moshe Leah. They are Moses and Leah.
Hem, Moshe, V'Leah. So in both Hebrew and English, the word they can refer to things as well as people. So, right, that makes sense, right? Where are the books? They are over there. Where are the students? They are over there. And in Hebrew, the word they, however, changes from masculine to feminine. And it changes with respect to people and with objects. So, Morris, yes, they are the words being the masculine word for words, deval.
So you have him, hadavarim.
Him, hadivarim. They are the words. Him, hadivarim. Okay, Mike.
Hein ha'aratzot.
Hin ha'aratzot. Hin ha'aratzot. They are the lands. So they as a pronoun changes according to gender and also whether or not something is singular or plural.
Courtney, if you were saying fathers, like we were talking about, even though it's avot, it would be him. Avot.
Him with a mem sofit.
Okay.
Him avot.
Okay.
Him avot tovim. They are good fathers. Yeah. So even though avot conjugates with the exceptional ending, the following adjective remains in the masculine conjugation.
Okay.
And you are correct. The pronoun also remains according to the originality of the word. Yeah, masculine. Yeah.
Okay.
But the word these or those is used with masculine and feminine nouns. It's a neutral word. So, for example, are we on mic? Are we on you? I think. Bianca? Okay.
So this one,
Yes, the
ale, or ale,
ele,
oh.
ele, yeah.
Ele, or ele, how is the hey pronounced with the?
Oh, it's kind of, so it's a hard one. Ele ha'amim. Ha'amim. Ele ha'amim. These are the nations. Ele ha'amim. Ellen.
Ela habrachot. These are the blessings.
Ele ha-brachot. These are the blessings. Exactly. So when translating, Janine, if you could translate, read the first sentence and translate for us.
Hu hamelech,
Hu ha-melech.
okay, and that is, he is the king.
He is the king. Hu hamelech. He is the king. Mispal Stein, Barb.
Haim Hamalachim. They are the kings.
Yes. Him hamelachim. They are the kings. Ed.
He ha'im. She is the mother.
He ha'im. She is the mother. Exactly. Tamal.
Hen ha'imahot. They are mothers.
Yes. They
The
are
mothers. I'm
the
sorry.
mothers. Yes, they are the mothers. What?
Ha'am, this is the land.
This is the people
Oh, people,
or
I'm
nation.
sorry.
Yes. How would you say this is the land? Zeha.
It would be Zot Haaretz.
Zot ha'aretz, exactly. Zot ha'aretz.
Ela ha'amim. These are the nations.
These are the nations, yes. It's a Zion.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay, Zion.
so Zot,
Zot,
Zot, Havel,
hab, because it has the dot in the center, so it's the hard sound.
Havel,
Habracha. Zot, habracha. This is the blessing, a bracha. This is the blessing, yes. Alan?
Ela habrachot. These are the blessings.
These are the blessings, yes.
Ani. Umosha.
Ani umoshe, yeah,
Avot.
avot.
Avot. So I am Moses the father.
So this is actually kind of an
Fathers.
interesting one. Ani means I and me. So I and Moses are fathers. Yeah.
Our Father?
Our fathers, just our
A-R-E.
A-R-E. So, oh, sorry, A-R-E, the linking verb.
Okay.
Yes, the present tense linking verb. So this is kind of a confusing sentence, right? Because you look at it and you're like, ani. So then we have that interesting grammar rule of the vav taking out the sound of u, becoming a vowel. So ani Moshe, me and Moshe. Silent linking verb, because there is no present tense linking verb, are, A-R-E. And then avot, fathers. But again, it conjugates with the unique rule of ending in vav taf instead of yud mem sofit. So that was a really complicated one with a lot of exceptions. Ani Moshe avot. Me and Moshe, or because you wouldn't say I and Moshe, are fathers.
Why is it plural?
Me and Moshe,
Oh.
two
I
people.
and, no. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because we're talking about me
Got it,
and
got it.
Moses. Yeah. Barb,
Sarah v'at imahot. Sarah and you are mothers,
yes. Sarah and you are mothers.
and it's you feminine.
Yes, you feminine, correct. Sarah va'at imahot. Ed,
Hu hamelech v'hem hadvarim. He is the king, and these are the words.
so it's almost, he is the king and they. So these would be ele, that gender neutral word. So him is they. It's actually a pronoun. Him, v'hen. It's a pronoun for they, and they are the words.
They are the words.
Yes. Samara.
Ele hamalchim. Vehen haratzot. These are the kings and they are the
Lands.
lands.
Yes. Ele hamelachim v'hen ha'aratzot. Okay. Do we feel like we kind of are getting the gist of it? Like kind of. So this next one, this next exercise is changing the plural form to the singular. So we're going to kind of be searching out the root. And for the most part, the vowel sounds will change. And of course, you'll drop off the ending, the yud mem safit or the vav taf. So example, him, melachim, they are kings. They, so we're making they the singular of that. Who, meaning he in English, melech, he is a king. So we're changing both the pronoun and the direct object. Sit for a second. Okay. So that's a complicated one. Maybe I'll do the first one. Mispar achad, ele ha'aratzot. Ele ha'aratzot. These are the lands. So land, feminine word. I say these. So it would be he, right? This land, this singular feminine. Zot haaretz. Zot haaretz. Is everybody kind of understanding that conceptually? Zot haaretz. It's complicated. Maybe I'll do number 2 as well. Mispar shtayim. Mi hamelachim. Mi hamelachim. Mi means who, right? Mi kamocha. Mi kamocha, who is like you. So maybe that's an easy way to remember that. Mi hamelachim. So who is a genderless. Also, it's singular or plural, right? Who is this? Who are they? Just so that stays the same. Me. And melachim is the plural for what word, Tamal?
Melech.
Melech, which is a masculine word. So if we were making it singular, mi ha-melech, ha-mi ha-melech. And so who is the king? Who is the king? Do we want to try, Barb, do you want to try number 3?
Sure.
And we can,
Ela,
yes. Oh, hold on
Ela.
a second, I have a question. Sorry, yes.
So for number 2, it's kings plural. So would it be who are like kings? Like who are the kings? Or would it
Who are
be
the kings?
these kings?
So these kings would be mi hamelachim ha'ele. Who are these kings? We haven't learned that grammar rule yet. So so it's just this, who are the kings? Who are the kings? Okay, sorry, Barb. Mispal shalosh.
so Ela Hashabbatot, which is these are the Sabbaths or the Shabbats,
Yeah.
and it would be Zot HaShabbat.
Exactly.
Those
Those
are
are Shabbat. And do we all understand why? Shabbat is a feminine word. She made it singular. Recognizing that Shabbat is a feminine word, she used zot, the demonstrative singular feminine of ele, these into this. Okay, Ed.
Mi ha'imahot, who are the mothers, would become mi ha'em. Me, who is the
Exactly.
mother?
Mi ha'em, who is the mother? Chamesh, Tamar.
Ele ha'ami'im.
Ele
Ha'amim.
ha'amim.
Yep.
Amim.
So it would be,
Well, you can say what this means.
Oh, I'm
Ele
sorry.
ha'amim.
these are the nation or the people.
Yes, these are the nations or the people. Yeah.
And then it would be Zot, no, Zeh
Ze,
ha,
ze ha'am, which means
this is the people or this is the nation.
yes, yes, yes.
Ele habrachot. So these are the blessings. And it would be Zot HaBracha.
Zot habracha. Zot habracha. Yes, or
This is the blessing.
this is the blessing. Yeah. Zot habracha.
Haim imahot avot. They're the mothers and the fathers.
So not the, because we don't have the ha.
They
The
are
hay in front of it?
mothers and fathers.
They are mothers and fathers.
So, who would it be? Who?
So actually, this is kind of a confusing one because this says they are mothers and fathers. So if you were going to make it singular, I actually think you'd have to change the structure of the sentence. So maybe I'll take this one because this is actually a little bit different than the others. Hem imahot va'avot. They are mothers and fathers. So maybe what they want you to do here is he, she is a mother, v'hu av. Because you can't use, you know, if you're making it singular, you can't use who with ima, and you can't use he with abba. So you'd actually have to change the sentence structure and make it he, she is a mother, and then add the who of, because you can't say he of. It doesn't, you know, you can't say she is a father. Not really. I mean, yeah.
Could you say Haim, Aim, Va'av?
That's what they are asking for.
Hey, oh, yes, him. They are,
A mother and a father.
Go back to make sure. I get
they
that.
are a mother and a father.
Good way to check.
It is, because otherwise I don't know. if I
Him
get it.
okay, I guess that is what they want you to say. They are a mother and a father. That's just weird. Like, would we say that in English? I don't know.
Right, so Courtney, I don't know if
Yeah.
everybody knows this, but there's an answer key in the back of the book. So if people are practicing at home and they want to check themselves, or you want to check us, there is an answer key.
I didn't even know that.
And
Yeah,
there's
so-
a glossary too.
Yeah,
Oh, that's very nice.
yeah, so when I'm doing them at home, I'll read it and then I'll check it, because it then says it in Hebrew and in English.
Oh, very good.
But
Okay.
I try not to rely on it because it gets too easy to rely on it. So, but to
It's
check
good to know
yourself,
these
it's good to
numbers.
check yourself.
Okay, that's good because I didn't even really, they are a mother and a father.
Well, it's not in the older edition.
Yeah, it's not in the older edition. Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess either way, but so yes, okay, so they are a mother and a father. So yes, in that way it would be, so go ahead, Tamar, read. Rather they want you to make it singular again.
For which one? I'm sorry.
Number 7, they want, so him, imahot, va'avot, they are mothers and fathers.
They are a mother and father, like she said, him, im, ben, ha'av. Or
Except,
ve'av.
except then you're not changing the plural form to a singular. You're leaving him as a plural.
Yep.
I
you're saying
contest
two of
that
them.
answer. Okay, anyway,
Two
I don't
people.
like that answer in the answer book, but whatever. Okay.
Two people, two people.
It is 2 people, but it isn't making it, okay. I feel like we're gonna go lawyer on this, Barb. You wanna go lawyer on this? Yeah, I was like, this is not the literal, okay, anyway, all right, just kidding, okay. Mispah Shmone,
Ele Devarim. They are the words.
Ele Dvarim, they are words,
Words.
because there's no ha.
All right.
So Ele Hadvarim,
They
they are the words, Ele Dvarim, they are words.
words. They are words. So singular would be Zot Devar.
Ze,
Or Zet, I'm sorry,
Ze
Zet Devar.
Deval.
Yeah.
Mhm. This is a word, Ze Deval. And do we want to try to finish? I don't know where we are in time. Do we want to try to do
It's
Shalosh?
it's 3 minutes after 12.
Oh, okay. Do we want to do the last exercise on the page or do you guys want to call it? It's up to you.
Can finish.
Okay. Whoever, you know, how about whoever wants to stay or can stay, we'll finish the exercise and then whoever needs to go. Hi. can go. So hu melech, he is a king. Hu melech, he is a king. Him melachim, they are kings. Hu melech, him melachim. Mispar achad. Morris, do you want to?
Okay,
Is it my- yeah.
Zot HaShabbat. This is Shabbat, the Sabbath.
Oh, sorry.
So you want the singular too then?
This is the Sabbath to these are the Sabbath.
So it would be Ele HaShabbatot.
Ele hashabbatot. Ele hashabbatot. Exactly. These are the Sabbaths. Mispal shtayim. Mike.
Za'am, so this is the nation. To so
No, it's ze'am. That's correct. Nation is a masculine word.
right.
So we're saying this is a nation. No, so we want to say these are nations
Nations or
or peoples.
peoples or Hamim, the nations.
So what we want to do is make it plural. So we're thinking about it, this is a nation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this to these, right? Ele,
Ele. Ele, is it Amim?
ha'amim.
Amim.
Ele, oh, not ha, sorry. Ele, amim. These are nations. Because am is a singular masculine word. The plural is amim. And the plural for ze is ele, masculine or feminine. It's gender neutral. These. Not they, not the pronoun itself, but the, I don't know what the correct grammatical term in English is for these, those. I'll look that up too.
Okay.
Okay. Like demonstrative. I don't know. Something.
I don't know.
I'll look it up. I know. I'm like, I learned, I know, at one
It's
point,
been a long time ago.
it's been a long time. Yeah. Okay. Mispar shalosh.
Mi ha'av, which is.
Miha. Oh, sorry. We're just going to go down instead of across. Sorry, to number 3. Mispar
Oh.
shalosh.
Oh, sorry. So number 3 or?
Yes.
Okay. Mi ha'melech.
Mi hamelech.
So, who is the king?
Who is the king? So now we're going to be asking, who are the kings? Who are the kings? And we know that the word who is a genderless pronoun that doesn't change to singular or plural, right? It doesn't in English either. So mi hamelech, who is the king? Mi would stay the same whether you're asking it about a singular or a plural. So mi will stay the
Would
same.
it be mi ham, or would it be mi hamelechim? or
Mi
ham-
ha-melachim. Mi ha-melachim. Who are the kings? Exactly. Mispa arba. Arba. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Miha Av, who is the father? Miha Avot.
Mi havot. Who are the fathers? Exactly. Mispa chamesh.
The mine is Zot Ha'eretz.
Haaretz.
So,
That's okay. Zot haaretz.
That this. I knew that what these have to be.
That's okay. Yeah.
Would be that.
Zot haaretz. So we're saying this is the land.
Uh-huh.
Zot haaretz. This being
Okay.
the feminine
All right.
demonstrative of this is haaretz for the feminine word, the land.
Uh-huh.
So we want to change this to these. And the new vocabulary word for these is ele, ele,
Okay.
and that stays the same for regardless of gender. It's a neutral term. So
So,
ele melachim, ele ara,
Aratzim,
ele haarat,
or Aratzot.
ele haaratzot.
Okay.
Yes. Ele haaratzot. These are the lands. Barb,
Hamelech Av, which is the king is a father,
yes,
and it would be Hamelachim Avot.
yes. Hamelachim avot.
The kings
So
are
the-
fathers.
Yes, the kings are fathers. So you still conjugate melech like melachim, but avot, masculine plural, takes on the what would more traditionally be the feminine plural ending, but isn't in this case. Okay, mispal sheva. Ed,
Zot bracha, this this blessing would become Ela bracha.
so zot bracha, this is a blessing.
This is, this is a blessing. Would become Ela brachot. These
Ele
are
brachot, yes,
Ela brachot. These are blessings.
yes. Come on.
Ze hadavar. This is the word. And then it would be ele hadavarot. Would be these are the words.
Ele hadvarim.
Maureen, okay.
Ele hadvarim. Yes.
But Courtney,
Devar.
one more quick thing.
Yeah.
So Zot Bracha, if it didn't have a period and you didn't know it was a whole sentence, then it could be just the phrase, because you might be saying like Zot Bracha Tov, like this blessing is good, but because there's a
So-
period, you know it's a sentence.
So actually, when you're saying this blessing, it actually changes. So zot bracha will always be this is a bracha. If you're saying this blessing, you'd actually say, you make the noun, you put a hey in front of it. So you say the blessing, the this. So you'd actually say, that's the grammatical, habracha hazot, this blessing. Habracha hazot. Hasefer hazeh. This book. So you take sefer, you make it specific by saying the, so that's how, I mean, I guess I think of it, the book, the this. It's, my way of remembering it, the book, the this. Hamora hazot. This teacher, zot mora. This is a teacher. Zot studentit. This is a student. Ha studentit hazot. This student. So the student, the this. Weird, right? But that's how you actually make it this specific object. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah. And at some point, this book will probably, but I think I'm trying to think, I'm sorry, I'm not very religious. So I'm like hard called upon to come up with prayers, but I'm pretty sure there are prayers that say, HaMelech HaRachamim, or you know what I mean? Like Elohim HaRachamim, anyway, that demonstrate this, I'll go looking for it. That you're like, oh, right, we're saying these people, these gods or whatever. It's not coming to me off the top of my head.
It's
so.
eternal.
Yeah.
Manishtana halayla hazeh. This
Yes.
night.
Halayla hazeh. Exactly. So, yeah. Manishtana halayla hazeh. Michol halaylut. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
practicing, Ed?
Okay.
Are you the
Practicing for
youngest?
next
He's
week.
gonna-
Are you reading? Yeah. Thank you, Ed. All right. See, which is funny, they have me teaching biblical Hebrew since, anyway. Yeah, but, so there you have it. But that's a perfect example. Manishana halayla hazeh, this night. Why is this night different from all the other nights? And another example where kol has an underneath it, the letter with the tongue, but actually it's pronounced kol. And I will look up that rule for you. Yeah. Thank you for lending me your book.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right, and we're back in 2 weeks, right?
We're back in 2 weeks. Yes, we do not have class of the week of Thanksgiving. If you want, I did pull some things off the internet that I was gonna send you all as a group, but then I thought, don't want to confuse you by sending you other things to study when we're really focused on the book. I don't know how you all feel about that. So I didn't, because I had said, please review chapters 2 and 3. At this point, if anybody specifically maybe wants to do something to reinforce like learning letters or combinations of sounds, I'm happy to like send that. That's kind of what I had looked up, letters and combinations of sounds and practicing them. Is anyone interested in like getting a mahzor, like a book to like practice like tracing letters for writing the words, or are we more interested in reading and pronunciation? Reading and pronunciation. Okay. Because I can order like a mahzor for everybody to like practice writing, but if it's more about like reading and pronunciation, then. So are we good?
Writing will be 2.0 next year.
2.0, great. I'm happy to, yeah. So if you want to take a look at these books, I kind of brought these in because they're like reading readiness. They're children's books, but they're really helpful nonetheless.
Yeah, like those are the ones that we used in Hebrew school.
Yes,
Years
totally.
ago.
These are my kids' Hebrew books. I
I was gonna
dug
say,
through.
And someday I want to learn how to print and do cursive, but that's like beyond me right now.
Yes.
But
Tomorrow
reading and
actually-
pronouncing are good.
Yeah, Tamara actually sent me a sheet that had both the cursive and the block, which I can forward to send. Because the reality is that everybody reads in print and block, but everybody writes in cursive. So it's, yeah. Yeah. So, okay, any questions based on what we did today? All
Thank
right.
you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Right.
Chag Sameach.
Thanks, Samantha.
And also happy Hanukkah, right? Because Hanukkah starts on
Right after,
Thanksgiving.
yeah. Just-
And
Sunday
doesn't it
night.
start Sunday?
Sunday night.
Sunday night,
Sunday night.
yeah.
All right, I'm signing off.
All right, bye, Barb. See you in a couple
Bye.
weeks.
Listen, you're back.
Bye, everyone. I'm signing off too.
Learn
You lost the
Hebrew
candle.
to teach us.
Oh, so, yeah, my CV, if anyone wants to stay for my CV, it's not very impressive, actually. I started learning, so I am let's be honest, my kids aren't here. Oh, you're here, don't tell them. I'm kidding. I'm a Hebrew school dropout. Like, I won't even go into the whole backstory of that. But, it was my defiance thing. But then I went to high school in Israel and got really interested in English. But so then I came back and my senior year of high school started studying with the Chabad rabbi's wife, the Rebbitzin, to like literally learn Aleph Bet. And then my freshman year of college, I took like beginning Hebrew. Then after my freshman year of college, I went and did after freshman year of college, I went and volunteered on a kibbutz, studied Hebrew, but like really more just worked. Then I continued to study Hebrew through college. And then I did an ulpan in Jerusalem, like an intensive language study. And then I taught Hebrew in college to Hebrew high school students, but I only ever studied modern spoken Hebrew. That having been said, when they were looking for somebody to teach this class, I think it kind of came down to who actually, but I did actually study block and script and pretty intensively. And then I majored in Near Eastern Studies with minored in Hebrew and Arabic. So yeah, so that's kind of and then everything else I've been teaching here at the synagogue, but to students, mostly 5th or 8th grades. And I had different classes, different years. And in those courses, had to learn the biblical Hebrew to teach them for Bar and Bar Mitzvah studies. Although I didn't do the intensive like Kenter Figa. So yeah, that's kind of my pedigree.
So that also explains why I noticed on somebody's Facebook post a little bit Arabic.
Yes, I do speak and read and write Arabic. Yes. Yeah. Sadly, I got
Thank
a
you.
fellowship in Arabic, so I
Uh-huh.
actually, huh?
No, I said thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Explain.
I did. That was actually Urdu. But yeah, that's my friend.
Uh-huh.
He lives in Pakistan, but
Uh-huh.
they use Arabic script and they have
Uh-huh.
some of the same words. But yeah. So if you ever want to study Arabic, let me
Okay.
know.